Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into the book of Micah, specifically chapter 3.
Yeah, and it's quite something.
It really is. It's this incredibly powerful, stark critique of the leadership in ancient Israel and Judah, the rulers, the prophets, the priests.
And the warnings are severe. No holding back.
Definitely not. So our mission here is to kind of unpack these really sharp accusations and look at the consequences laid out. Let's just jump right in.
Okay, well, the first thing that hits you is how direct it is. It calls out the leaders, the rulers of Jacob and Israel, straight away.
Right. No beating around the bush. And the main charge.
The core accusation is that they should know justice. That's their job, basically.
Yeah.
But instead, they actively hate good and love evil.
That's quite the inversion. They're meant to be the guardians of justice, but they despise it.
Exactly. And the way Micah describes how they do this isn't, abstract legal term.
No, it's really graphic, isn't it?
It's incredibly violent imagery.
Yeah.
Things like tearing skin off people, eating their flesh, breaking their bones, chopping them up like meat in a pot.
Wow. It's language designed to make you feel the brutality of their exploitation.
Absolutely. It's visceral. It paints a picture of utter disregard for the people they rule.
So, with actions described like that, what's the fallout? What does the text say happens to these leaders?
Well, the consequence is just as stark. It says when they eventually cry out to the Lord, presumably when things go bad for them,
Yeah.
he won't answer. He'll hide his face from them.
And it connects that directly to their behavior.
Explicitly. Because of the evil they have done. It's cause and effect. Their own corruption cuts them off.
A complete breakdown of that relationship. But the chapter doesn't just stop with the political rulers, does it?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It shifts focus pretty sharply onto the prophets.
Okay, what's the charge against them?
They're accused of leading people astray. And their motive, it's laid bare. They preach peace only if you feed them, if you pay them.
Ah, so it's conditional prophecy.
Right. And if you don't put food in their mouths, essentially they prepare to wage war against you. Their message is bought and paid for.
That's a heavy critique. Their guidance is based on personal gain, not truth.
Precisely. And just like the corrupt leaders, there's a specific consequence for these prophets.
What is it for them?
The text says, night will come over you without visions, darkness, no divination. Their whole source of supposed spiritual insight just dries up.
The sun sets on their careers, so to speak.
Yeah, it says the sun will set for them. They'll be ashamed, disgraced, cover their faces. Why? Because, like the leaders, there is no answer from God. Their spiritual authority is revealed as false. It collapses.
And right in the midst of all this, Micah himself steps forward.
Yes, he draws a clear contrast. He says, but as for me, I'm different. He claims he's filled with power, with the Spirit of the Lord, and with justice and might.
To do what?
To declare to Jacob his transgression, to Israel his sin. He positions himself as the one speaking the uncomfortable truth, empowered by God, unlike the others.
Which loops back to the charges against all the authorities, rulers, priests, and prophets. It's systemic.
It really is. They're distorting justice across the board, building Zion, building Jerusalem, the holy city, with bloodshed and wickedness.
And it gets specific about the corruption again, right?
Yes. Leaders, judging for a bribe. Priests, teaching for a price. Prophets, telling fortunes for money. Justice, religious teaching, divine guidance, all commodified. It's all for sale.
Yet, despite doing all this, they have this sense of security.
That's the hypocrisy highlighted. They lean upon the Lord and actually say, "Is not the Lord among us? No disaster will come upon us."
So they think they're okay because God is supposedly on their side, regardless of their action.
Exactly. A dangerous, false confidence. They believe their religious identity shields them from the consequences of their blatant injustice.
But the text declares a devastating outcome because of this very combination, the corruption and the false security.
Oh, absolutely devastating. It says, therefore, because of you, addressing them directly, Zion will be plowed like a field.
The holy city plowed over.
Yes. Jerusalem will become just a heap of rubble. And the Temple Hill, the most sacred spot, will be like a mound overgrown with bushes and thickets. Utter destruction.
So the chapter draws this really clear line. Corrupt leadership leads to a false sense of divine favor, which ultimately results in total ruin. It's a powerful statement on accountability.
A very powerful statement. It insists that claims of faith or reliance on God mean nothing, or worse than nothing, if not matched by just actions. especially from those in charge.
This dive into Micah 3 has been intense. It's a stark message.
It doesn't mince words.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How does any society, any group, ensure its leaders actually uphold justice rather than falling into that trap of hating good and loving evil? And maybe, what does authentic reliance on God look like if it's not just empty words contradicted by our actions?
That's the enduring challenge, isn't it? Something to really consider.